Hello my dear friends and welcome to my channel. My name is Barbara and today we're going to be looking at Neptune in the 5th house. So this video is for you if you have this placement. Also, if you have Pisces in the 5th house, this video might resonate with you as well. Also, if you're a cross watcher, welcome as well. So Neptune in our natal charts deals with the area that we might not necessarily see clearly. We might romanticize this area. We might escape through this area. We might go into the higher realms, the psychic realms, dream about this area, really put it on a pedestal. The 5th house does deal with your creativity, it deals with the inner child, children overall, and it can deal with your love, dating, and relationships. So when you have Neptune in this area, all of these things you might not necessarily see clearly. What I will say for this particular placement is that you guys are going to be highly creative. You're probably going to be very artistic, or at least express yourselves artistically in one way, shape, or form. It can be through art, it can be through poetry, it can be through dance, it can be through music, it can be through acting, it can be through theater. This is definitely going to be the name of the game for you guys. You guys are basically going to have to figure out what your area of expertise is, and my recommendation for the Neptunian energy always is focus on perfecting your craft in that area, because this is how you really master Neptunian energy. We bounce off of the opposition of Pisces, which is Virgo. Virgo is all about repetition, practice makes perfect, the day-to-day, being in a routine. So you want to contain the Neptunian energy, otherwise you guys are going to go off into the ethers. You're going to be thinking about this all the time, not putting it into action, and then there's always this energy of disappointment, because it's like you guys can go into overthinking energy, just think about it all the time, and then quickly fall into the shadow where it's like you're escaping through it, but it's like you want to do it, but you might not know how to go about getting it, and then it kind of maybe throws you guys into this negative energy, negative views around this particular area, because it's like part of you wants to do it, the other part of you doesn't know how to go about getting it. You guys spend so much time dreaming, you guys might feel like the dreams aren't coming true, throws you into this like disappointment energy is really what that is. That's sometimes what I've noticed tends to happen with Neptunian energy, Piscean energy, and 12th house energy. There's an energy of disappointment attached with this particular energy for two reasons. One of the things is sometimes these people don't know how to go about getting the things that they want. They have all these dreams, all these visions. For you guys, it's in the area of creativity. But my suggestion for this energy overall is to figure out a way to ground it and to basically start somewhere and then start building on that, and maybe cross things off your list as you go. So if you guys are very talented and you're maybe talented in a lot of these areas, try it out first and see what works. Maybe try out dancing. Okay, how is this going for me? Do I like it? Do I want to continue perfecting this area? Because this is the whole thing on this earth. We have to go by the whole rules here and the energetics of this earth plane. This earth plane is very Virgo-like. That's why Neptune, Pisces, 12th house does not like being down here, because for them in the ethers, in the higher vibrations, in their minds, in the imagination, even in the psychic realms, is really what that is. Everything technically happens faster. You think it and it happens. This is all true, but it doesn't necessarily work that way down here. Down here there is an energetic lag. This whole lag that takes place is because of the density of the plane and the density where we are at and the emotions that we are vibrating at. So sometimes inner work has to take place for you to match that thing that you guys are trying to anchor from the higher planes. But what I will say is persistence is key, and continue doing that thing that you guys really feel on an intuitive level you guys are meant to do. So like I was saying, if you don't know what you want to do and you're overwhelmed, maybe you're talented in many areas, try one thing at a time. Okay, the dancing thing maybe you're not into, try acting now, if that's also another thing that you're into. Now, another thing that I will also say for this particular placement is, because it does deal with love, dating, and relationships, this area can also be very much blurry for you guys. It can be hardcore. You guys can kind of feel like you're playing out a movie, or want to play out a movie, or like, you know, in the movies where it's like, oh, we can't be together and now we're together and this person fought for me, like those types of things, like those intense types of like movie scenes. You guys can kind of either want these things to happen in your life or energetically mimic, because the 5th house is the grand gestures, big gestures, the theatrics of it all. Now, what I will say is, if that aspect of yourselves isn't necessarily being fulfilled in the physical reality in terms of the romance you guys seek or those grand gestures, acting is going to be a very good outlet for this energy, because then you guys can take that fantasy energy, those dreams you guys have for these dynamics, and basically channel it into acting. You guys are probably going to be interested in acting as well. Now, obviously it depends on the rest of your natal chart as well, but overall, you guys are going to have some sort of gift in terms of the creative world, and it's going to be up to you guys to figure out what that is and basically hone in on that, perfect it, and continue working at it until you guys get to where you're trying to go. Keeping in mind that you guys can escape through this area as well. This can be something that does take place. So it's interesting, because it's like what I've noticed with Neptunian energy, Piscean energy, and 12th house energy as well, is like sometimes they go into the addictive aspect of things, because the physical plane isn't playing out in the direction that they are visualizing in their minds. So to avoid this, okay, to avoid maybe escaping through substances and all these types of things. It can really be anything. It can also be overthinking, shopping. Addiction is really on a huge range. It can also be through relationships as well. So to avoid this whole escapism energy, really what you can do is wherever you have Neptune in your chart, the area you don't see clearly, and you have to work a little harder to basically ground it in the physical reality, to basically not spend too much time in something that we call the crown chakra, where you're just thinking about it and you're fantasizing about it, and the dreams are there. Everyone has a dream, and the whole thing with dreams is that yes, they are there, but you have to pair action along with the dream. So baby steps is something that I always suggest as well for Neptunian energy, because it's like one thing will lead you to the next, to the next, to the next, as long as you have your clear vision in mind what it is that you want to do. But again, Neptune is blurring this area for you guys. So it's blurring the area of creativity, where it's like, again, you guys might not know where to start, or you might want to do everything and then nothing gets done. So one thing at a time, one foot in front of the other is my suggestion for Neptune and the 5th house. You guys will get your groove, but overall it's going to be very important for you guys to express yourselves creatively in one way, shape, or form. And it's like the more you're in that creative energy, the more creative energy is going to flow. Now, another thing that I will also say for Neptune and the 5th house and just Neptune energy overall, because you are kind of playing with figuring out what the balance is between the escapism energy, you guys want to kind of figure out what the healthy balance is for you in terms of spending time on your own, in your own energy, to get these ideas, to get these creative juices flowing, but not spending too much time where once again nothing gets put into action, and figuring out how to balance that with actually being grounded in the physical plane and the physical reality, being very practical. Sometimes Neptune and the 5th house people have these grand ideas that maybe it's difficult to anchor in this reality because maybe the collective is not there yet. Maybe there isn't a practical way about going after it. Although in the current age that we're living in, it's very, very easy to basically get anything rolling with the internet. Okay, we are blessed to be living in the time that we are living in. I will say that much. You can do a lot of things like self-publishing and all these wonderful things, whereas before it was very, very different. Now there's a lot of different avenues to express yourselves creatively. So once again, my suggestion is just start somewhere. And if it is something that maybe the collective's not there yet to understand, or even hear, or maybe even grasp, really figuring out something practical to do in terms of that Neptune and the 5th house energy. So it could be something that is already existing in this plane, let's say like acting once again, or dancing, or poetry, or music. One more thing that I also want to mention for this placement for Neptune in the 5th house, or if you have Pisces in the 5th house, this could signify that your children are going to be very spiritually gifted. They could be very spiritual, they could be very advanced, they could be very gifted overall in terms of their psychic gifts and abilities. Something also that I wanted to mention earlier is that when you guys get these ideas and your creative ideas and all of these wonderful, I guess you can even call them downloads, is that they are coming from the other side. So where you have Neptune in your natal chart, you're psychically gifted in that area, creatively gifted. Psychic energy, creative energy, even healing energy is very, very connected. So for you guys also in terms of your creative expression, it is healing not only for yourselves, but also for the public as well. Because as we heal ourselves, we also heal the collective as well. So back to the children. So you guys could have also very creative children. You guys could have very psychic and intuitive children. You guys could have a very gifted child when you have Neptune in the 5th house, or even Pisces in the 5th house. It's going to be a very Piscean child, okay? Very Piscean types of children. Now, another thing that I also want to mention for Neptune in the 5th house, or even Pisces in the 5th house, is that you guys could really romanticize the area of relationships, yes, but you guys could also romanticize the area of overall love in general, like what this really means to you guys. You know, it could be this huge thing. You guys can really put it on a pedestal. That could be something that takes place. And then also you can romanticize the people that are in front of you, that maybe these individuals aren't necessarily for you, you know, because you kind of put this idea on them. So you guys might struggle with this area. You might not see that the person might not be fitting in the particular vision you have, or you guys might be completely bypassing maybe certain red flags or things that just aren't match between the two of you because you guys have this dream. With that being said, you guys can also escape through relationships as well. That could be something that does take place. I will slip in here that if you are escaping through other people, there's something that you are avoiding within yourself. But overall, this placement is very, very good for creative expression, creativity, expressing the inner child, spirituality. You can even figure out creative ideas to express your spirituality as well. It's really on a huge range. So with all of that being said, I'm going to wrap up this video here. I do hope you guys enjoyed my video on Neptune in the 5th house. If you did, please do like, share, and subscribe, and I hope you all have a beautiful rest of the day.